Hi, I'm Amy and this is the Half Caff podcast. And it's been a while, so I've got lots of knitting and crochet to show you, and I'm kind of energized today because I just got back from Fiber Fusion, which was a local sheep and wool and, fiber festival, right? I mean, I guess it's self-explanatory. Anyway, that was really fun, and it's my first time that I've ever been to anything like that, so that was cute. I got to see goats and sheep and llamas. Adorable. I didn't walk away with any yarn or fiber. Can you believe that? I don't know what happened. But I did get a couple of cool things, which I'll show you. The first one is the mug of the day. I don't remember the person's name, so I will put it on the screen as usual. But this is some handmade pottery, and crows and ravens are my jam. So this was perfect. So I've got my double decaf mocha in here. This is also really nice because it's got this thumb rest. It feels really nice to hold, and it's kind of like a smaller size. I dig it. So, cheers. It's been a while. Thanks for coming back. I'm going to have more of that. Life has gotten a lot more busy. Partially because I am sitting here in the yarn shop that I work in, podcasting, so that I can have the coveted wall of yarn as my backdrop. And, it's real. Squish, squish, right? I am sitting in front of a remix display. Let's show you a pretty one. So Barocco Remix. This one is nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, and linen. It's got all the kind of things in it, but it feels really nice. Anyway, it's a wall of color, so I decided to sit here on the floor alone in a yarn shop, which is so delicious. So I'm not working that much, a couple of days a week, but of course I still knit and crochet all the time. And a lot of what I've been doing are samples for the store, because that's really fun. And we also had just a couple of weeks ago a yarn crawl happen here between like 20 or so of the stores in the general area. And so that was really busy and really fun. I also ended up getting my elbow too strained. I think, just crocheting and knitting too much and not stretching. Do your stretches and take your breaks. So I've kind of had to ease up a little bit. So I actually got into a little bit of embroidery, which I'll show you too. Mostly I want to embroider clothes. I just like embroider my own knits. I would love that. But you just get more comfortable with embroidery, and just because it's fun and I wanted to do something a little bit different, but I really need to craft. So something crafty. I decided to embroider. My physical therapist thinks that might be a little bit of a lateral move, but anyway, we'll see. He's not too judgy. It's okay. In case I forgot to say, hi, I'm Amy. This is the Half Caff podcast. We talk about knitting and crochet and sometimes other things, but typically knitting and crochet. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I work at a yarn shop. What else is there to say, right? Hi, or welcome back. Hi again. So I've got a bunch of stuff to show you. I don't know in what order. It's all crazy here. I've been doing a lot of crochet, but there's still plenty of knit. In fact, the thing I most recently finished is knit. And why don't I just pull that out now? Okay, so I'm sure I'm going to say this wrong, but this is Kevät. Probably wrong. By Kaitlin Hunter. I made the extra small crop version. So it looks like it will fit a baby doll, but it's really, really pretty. I made this out of Queensland recycled tweed, because this is a really cool yarn and sometimes gets overlooked in our store. So of course we needed a beautiful sample. So this yoke was just really fun. There was always something going on. I didn't mess up nearly as much as I expected to. I expected to especially mess up down here on these lace portions because, it's just an eyelet, it's not a big deal. But if you don't get it lined up right, and so I managed. I think I haven't discovered any errors so far. There's like this tiny little cable up here. There's a couple of bobble rows. And I was actually supposed to do bobbles. So I'm going to show you here, here, and here, but on the first one, since we're top down, of course, and the first bobble I was supposed to do, I totally just blitzed it. I didn't even remember there was supposed to be a bobble there. I didn't remember there was supposed to be a bobble there until it came to the next one where I was supposed to do a bobble, and I was like, so I didn't. It would look cute. I don't think it needs it, but it would look nice too. But yeah, so that's I mean, look at that. Teeny, but it does fit you know, a very small grown person. This is 36. So it's meant to fit, I think, a 32 bust, and that's the extra small. So this used, as I said, recycled tweed in the colors Snowflake and Limestone. Limestone is the darker color. So I used a negligible amount of Limestone, but of course a lot of the Snowflake. But Queensland recycled tweed is, there's almost 400. It's a sport weight, in my opinion. Yeah. So there's almost 400 yards to the gram. So I used like 1 and a little of a skein. And, you know, it's got short sleeves and it's cropped and it's little. So obviously that was the key. What to say about this? I love how this on the yoke, how this makes this kind of like swooping effect. This is just like garter stitch here, but because of how it works with these decreases, it kind of like makes this swoop across. And I love that. That's such an elegant touch. What else did I want to say? I feel like I forgot one thing. I don't know. Oh, I was just going to tell you it was on a US 4. There you have it. So that was really fun. And that just came off the needles like a couple days ago, and then I blocked it. And so it's sitting here in the store. My boss hasn't even seen it yet, and I haven't even posted it on Instagram yet. Scandalous. Why don't I just show you this next one that's sitting right here? It's also on a little post here. This is the Maria top. Let me see who that's by. Kaitlin Barthold, I think. Again, I'll put it on the screen. Hey, look, there's a little tag here. So this was done out of Noble Cotton, which we carry in the store. And Noble Cotton is from Cascade. It's a DK, and it's really shiny because it's mercerized. It feels really good to work with. I ended up getting a kind of like a moody rainbow. I don't have a purple. For some reason, I forget about purple a lot. I don't know. But anyway, I've got, so it's a rainbow, but I've got like the moody red and kind of like the rusty orange and the denim blue. Like I love those kind of muted colors. So I decided to do that. I made some granny squares, which, they haven't turned into anything yet. So I'll show you later. So I can show you this whole thing. But, I didn't know what to make with it. And then I just ended up, you know, I mean, granny tops and granny square tops and all of that, bags and things are really popular right now. Anyway, I just found this and thought, why not? And so this isn't really my taste at all. It's like way too crazy, but it's nice and colorful. I got fluff in fluff in the air. But it was really fun to make. I made this so fast. It was like a couple of days. I just went for it. I don't remember what size this is. It's not the teeny tiny size, but it's probably on this. It's like a medium maybe. So this is crochet, of course, and it's just that granny stitch, you know? So 3 double crochet and just go and go and go. The thing I really like about this one that's super elegant is it's a raglan. And so you can kind of see right here, I'll show you up close. There's a raglan seam line around the shoulders. It's on the back too. And it's so elegant. And I've never thought of doing that, but it works really nice. And I really like the design of this top. Even though the colors are nuts and I would never wear it, but it's really cool. And it's really pretty to look at, and it makes for a great display in the window. So that one was really fun. And again, like I said, I busted that one out really quick. So I highly recommend that pattern. I would choose kind of the dominant color you want it to be with the whole cuffs and the neckline and the bottom. And then otherwise, whatever colors you want, of course. But it really lends itself to doing whatever you want. And of course, depending on how you wanted it to look, you could totally do this with scraps because that's what granny squares are good for. Granny anything. Granny stripe is good for. Stripe, that's the word I was looking for. Stripe. Anyway, so that's the Maria top. Super fun. The hits keep coming because, like I said, it's been a while and I made a lot of stuff. This one, let's see. I've got my little tag on here. See if I can get that out of the way. This one is kind of hard to see. This is actually in my size. Slip it over my head. But this is called Canyon by Amy. I think it says Gunderson. It's backwards to me. This one is really cool. So this does combine a little bit of knit, but this is all crochet. This is the linen stitch, and it's made out of linen yarn. It's actually made out of this yarn right here. Solo Lino, Linea Pura. I can't say that. Lana Grossa yarn. Why don't I just show you and stop butchering it? So this is 100% linen. Technically, it's 80% recycled linen and 20% linen. It feels really soft and nice, and the drape is out of this world. I kind of blocked this to all hell. So it's really quite see-through because I needed to get the dimensions. I was kind of sloppy and didn't, really perfect my gauge or anything like that. So I wanted to make sure that it was going to be long enough. So I really kind of stretched and blocked this, and it worked really well. So this is a linen stitch in crochet, which is basically you do a single crochet and a chain, a single crochet and a chain. And then when you work back and forth and you come back, or however, wherever your rounds are, if you're going in the round, you will single crochet, around the chains and then chain over the single crochet in the previous row. So it's kind of compressed a little bit. It makes a really neat stitch. I've done another one in linen stitch that I'll show you later. But it makes a really neat stitch. And so when I blocked this and the drape is just, look at that. It's just so drapey. It really opened up and was really nice. This is an I-cord. So this is technically knit. You could obviously chain, your strap or use a ribbon or I don't know, whatever you wanted to do. But I could make an I-cord. So I did. I think the pattern calls for you to use an I-cord maker if you want, but of course you don't have to have that. You can do that any way you want to do that. You just have to know how to knit it if you're going to make it an actual I-cord. But there's plenty of options for crochet versions of that, so you'd be fine. The coolest part about this is a tank, kind of a halter style, and this is totally adjustable. So yeah, this is as long as you want, but it's adjustable and you can kind of slide this so that just gravity is kind of making it so it's small. But let me see if I can do this. Sorry for the microphone bumps there. Yeah, so you can open that up even more. Whoa. Such a great job, right? I've taken a picture or some video of all of these, so I'll be putting that in as well. So that might help you to see what it looks like. But anyway, I'm going to show you the lace because here is the coolest part, is down at the bottom. This is the lacy part. Just give you a close-up of that. And look at those picots that are just so drapey and flowy. So many picots on the edging. But oh man, it looks so good. The lace was really easy to do actually, and it was at the end of each piece, so it was kind of fun. It was like, you get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, so to speak. So this is the Canyon top made in linen. This technically fits me. It's definitely a good color, but I don't tend to wear tanks a lot. You can kind of see the join there from my I-cord. I don't know, turn it this way. It's the same each way. But that was really fun to make. Also pretty speedy, but I will say it takes a little bit of time because the linen stitch, again, is a little bit compressed. So a gauge swatch could be good for that one, just to, like, if you block to see, first of all, how drapey the fabric will be and how much it will open it up, to see if that's your style. Like, you'd possibly need to wear a cami under that, especially because it's so open at the sides. So if you didn't want to do that, and you were making that pattern, you might want to do a gauge swatch to see how much that linen stitch will open and how much you want to open it or not when blocking it, and then what your measurements will be, of course, from the gauge swatch. That's kind of the whole point of doing the gauge swatch, supposedly. You know, I really like those podcasts that are so gentle and calming, and you just feel like warm and cozy, and I just don't think I'm destined to make those kind of podcasts. As soon as I get in front of the camera, I'm like, okay, my camera's going to overheat. Let's get it all out. Let's just go next, like I'm writing a list. So sorry if this isn't very restful, but it is full of cool knit and crochet, I hope. Speaking of which, okay, believe it or not, I've got 4 more finished objects that I don't think I've shown you, or even talked about that I know of. The first 2 are kind of similar. So as I said, I was thinking about granny squares. Sorry, I'm reaching for it right now. I was thinking about granny squares and how they're super popular. And, you know, I'm seeing stuff in the trendy stores that are like granny tanks. I still haven't made one of those. But, you know, granny square bags, all that kind of stuff. And so I got on a kick with vests, and my boss was talking about like making one of them, and I just went nuts with it. It is called, let me tell you what it's called first. It is called the Agnes Sweater Vest, and that's by Bethany Lynne. It is a free pattern. I have to say, though, it comes out pretty teeny, the way that she has you do it. So really important to meet gauge on the granny squares. They are 5x5. I worked with the worsted, but I actually needed to go up to, because I didn't want it too open, but I needed to go up to a bulky yarn, and then block the heck out of the squares to get it 5x5. So I made, the first version I made 2 versions. They're both out of Blue Sky yarns, because I love Blue Sky yarns. They're top tier favorite of mine. The first one I did, I was just like, well, it'll be, you know, close enough, but it was way off. My squares were 3x3 in a worsted. I think Blue Sky might kind of, I don't think it's light, but it's definitely a proper worsted. It's not Aran or bulky or anything like that. So it's just Blue Sky fibers worsted base, and that gave me a 3x3 granny square. So making a vest out of that, of what I had, of the number of squares she said, you need 25, maybe. Anyway, you can look at the pattern, but was not going to cut it. There's no way I'd be able to get that over my head, and it would have been like, you know, a bralette. Because the opening in your head is just 1 granny square width. So if you do it to the right specifications, it'll probably be okay. But it's definitely not size inclusive, unless you do a lot of, you know, crafty creativeness on your own, adding more squares and that kind of thing. So the first vest I did finish it because I really, really liked it. I just added a lot more squares. I want to say I added like 15 more squares. That's what my notes say. 15 more squares. So this is, again, out of Blue Sky worsted. It uses, what colors? Highland fleece, quartz crystal, dark chocolate, driftwood, and northern lights. How cute is that? Oh my gosh, I love this one. My daughter put it on, my teenage daughter, and I loved it so much. It's not her bag, but it's definitely mine. I would wear this if it like fit me the way I wanted, but it's not as drapey, you know, as I would and blah blah blah. Erase that anyway. So for this one, so as I said, there's supposed to be 1 granny square in the middle, and I'll show you the proper one that I did. But there's supposed to be 1 granny square in the middle, so it'd basically be like this size. Yeah, that's not happening, right? So I did have to add the extra squares, and basically, you know, that was exponential. So it ended up being like 15 of them, 15 extra ones. So what is that, like 40 squares instead of 25, something like that? I don't know. But I did finish this one and finagle it so that I could have it. It's so cute. I love these colors together. Definitely the neutrals, but I love them brown and pink together too. So that's the first one I did. The second one I did, also out of Blue Sky, but it's out of their Aran Tweed, which honestly is it's pretty bulky. So that reads bulky to me. So I did those. I might have gone up a hook size too. I can't recall. Let's see what I did for my second Agnes vest. I used an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter. And I did get the granny squares blocked to 5.5. I think they were, or to 5 inches. I think they were 4.5 inches before I blocked them, I want to say. They were definitely, or maybe they were 4.25. They were 4.25, and I blocked them to 5. So this is how it's supposed to be crafted together. So you've got just the opening, the one opening, and then there's the shoulders, and that's how it works. I took a photo and posted it on Instagram. This one was in the background. This one that has kind of like the tweedy and almost a gray cast, compared to this white one, right? Or this cream one. And it just looked like this was its sad sister. So, but I really do love them both. I would say I like this one a little bit more because I love the, this color the most, I think, this Highland fleece color, more than the kind of like the gray flecked of the equivalent in the tweed, but I really like it. The tweed is more of the base under the tweed that's the lighter color is not as creamy or warm. I think if it was, I'd probably like it just as much because I love tweed too. So, okay, what's next? I think I have one more to show you that's actually in the back room. Hold that thought. Okay. So this is funny because to me, it's really cute. So I got into a mood where I wanted to do bulky stuff. And we have, I think it's called Mirasol Ushia yarn, and it's super bulky. So it's like category 6 and 7 kind of, stuff. Really thick, really nice. So I thought, like a bulky cropped cardigan, I think would be super cute. So I found a couple. One I'm still working on. I'm almost done with it. I will show you that one in the whips in a minute. But this one I finished. I think I've talked to you about this one before. The funny thing about it was that I only had I had to sew it together, but I had like half of one line of bind off to do, and I ran out of yarn. So I finally got the yarn to finish it and sew it up and everything. So first of all, I'll show you. Here it is. Oh gosh, I might have to get some separate footage of this because it's hard to do. Why don't I put it on? I'm going to die of heat stroke literally the second I put it on. I can never wear my knits in my store because it's too hot. Like, it must be the age I'm at too. Anyway, so here's the bulky cardigan. It's so hard to show you. I will get other footage. This is called the Oxford Boyfriend Cardigan. Who is that by? One moment, please. Alexandra Tavel. I made the extra large. This hits me at like probably my waist. Maybe a little bit more. Top of my hip. So this is the XL size. I did put in a button, just one button. The pattern doesn't have buttons at all. And the pattern is longer. It kind of like maybe covers your hips or goes to, the bottom of your hips. I like that style too, actually. I'd like to make another one in darker colors. The sample that they show in the pattern is made out of like a kind of a rich denim blue and white, and I really like that. But for some reason, these colors spoke to me. And I messed with the stripes too. I just did whatever I wanted to do with the stripes. I don't even remember my reasoning. So it's drop shoulder, really easy to wear, really big, surprisingly drapey and nice for bulky yarn, because I just feel like sometimes, I mean, obviously it depends, but sometimes bulky yarn, it feels like it's just too much. Like it can't relax or drape as nice as something like a fingering obviously would. Obviously that matters on how tight your gauge is and all of that kind of thing, or how small your gauge is. But I wasn't sure how, I thought this might be still kind of stiff, but it's nice to wear and really drapey. The funny thing is, okay, I'm going to take this off because I don't want to die of heat stroke. The funny thing about this is, everyone in the store, customers and employees alike, like the store owner and stuff, have been like throwing this on when they randomly get cold. It's getting to be summer, of course, and for us. And so we're trying to keep the store a proportionate amount of cool. But that's, it's a trial and error. So sometimes it's too cold for some people. It's never too cold for me. I don't know what my problem is, but anyway, so she'll throw this on, and someone else was cold in here the other day. She gave it to them. Like, so it's like the store cardigan now. But it's really fun, and it's definitely worthy. It's super cozy. I would highly recommend that pattern, or something like it out of really, like, make a bulky cardigan. This is, knit in pieces and sewn together. It wasn't the worst. The seams are kind of, they're kind of bulky, right? Because, I mean, the yarn is bulky, so it sometimes makes you like go, ooh. But it's fine. So I was pretty darn happy with that, how that turned out. I don't know if I can show you it with it buttoned. There you go. Okay, maybe this is going to be good enough. So that's it. So like I said, the pattern doesn't have a button, but I just decided to throw one in for giggles. So yeah, I may be working on another one of that, but as I was going to say, so those seams, before I go into whips, I want to show you something cool I got in the mail. So, and that means I have to tell you my cozy podcast. Okay, interlude. This might be so long that I'm going to have to make chapters for you guys on YouTube. But I want to first share with you some of my peaceful podcasts. So these are the ones that when I want to just feel like they're kind of like nature vibe podcasts. So when I just want to feel like peaceful, like you're sitting out on your deck with a coffee and it's quiet and you can hear the birds chirping, like that vibe, right? Kind of a little bit of a spiritually minded, emotional, calm kind of vibe, sitting by the fire, whatever you like. So I want to tell you about some of them. I will also list them below. Like I said, not all of them are knit and crochet, but let me start with those first. So in no particular order. The first one, some of you might know about this already, is Bee Mandarins. I know her name and I completely forgot it. She is doing more Patreon stuff now, but she has some really nice podcasts on her YouTube channel that you can look back over. And she just has this really like cozy, really good aesthetic. Her voice is really gentle. She mostly does voiceover stuff, and she'll show you what she's making. And it clearly seems like it's taking place over weeks. So she just like really takes a lot of care in how she's like staging a shot and showing you the work. And her aesthetic is all very like neutrals and just beautiful stuff. So I like her patterns. You've heard of her on my channel before because I've made her, I think I made more than this, but her Into the Woods sweater I made. It's the Into the Woods yoke. It's got like little tree pattern using the dip stitch. We've talked about the dip stitch before. Anyway, so I really, really enjoy her podcast, and that's kind of like the vibe that I'm talking about. So if you want to go back and check those out or check out her Patreon for new ones, I definitely recommend that. Another one that's also knit and crochet and more is Fiber Trek. And she has like a real kind of like in line with nature and the seasons kind of feel. So her podcasts are always, there's always like great B-roll, and there's always this kind of feeling of her, you know, like she'll show you winter stuff and or summer stuff depending on what the season is, and like everything that goes in there kind of has that similar vibe. Lately she's been doing things like interviews and stuff with some other people, but most of the time she just has a really, really cozy vibe and a really gentle voice, and she tends to have a little bit of everything in her podcast. So I definitely recommend her. I forget her name. I'll put it here. I'll put it down below and everything. But Fiber Trek is hers. The other one that is knit and crochet and also many other things, illustration, has she done embroidery? I can't remember. Anyway, several things. And it's one of the reasons I got some mail from her. So I want to actually, you know, shout her out. And this is why I had an interlude like this. That is the Green Bean podcast. Some of you may know already. That's Katie Green. She's been podcasting for quite a while, so she has a number of them. And she just has, again, such a great vibe. It's really just her kind of like gently talking to the camera. But she has a lot of great B-roll, kind of interspersed with her and her cute little dog, Jack. And she's an illustrator. So she'll show you a lot of that stuff. Like recently, some of her podcast has been, she's working on a tea towel pattern, and it's like, it's done on, I think it's called Scratchboard. So she'll show you how she does that. And, she's got this cute little, like all these sheep doing different things, you know, knitting or I don't know, they're doing all kinds of little activities, but she's just got such a cute aesthetic. But her podcast is just, again, that sweet, gentle vibe, not really like overly highly produced, but it's just her, you know, like, as I said, I will never be able to do those gentle, I'm gesturing wildly. I'm talking too fast. I get right to the point and I kind of yammer loudly. But she's definitely one of those where it's just her. She's got a peaceful vibe about her. And her makes are really great. And she'll talk about, you know, like where she got the yarn from, and definitely has a sustainable mindset, but she has this kind of whimsy about her. And so one of the things I wanted to get something from her for a while, because in her shop, she does have an Etsy shop. I think she has a website too, or maybe it's off her website. I cannot recall. She's in the UK, and she has this illustrated ribbon that she's done, and you can use this ribbon to trim anything that you want. Originally, I wanted to get it because when I made my Alaska cardigan, I wanted to, you know, I've seen people like trim the inside seam. See, here we're finally getting to the point. Trim the inside seam, so like cover them up. That's from a steek. And so that was going to be kind of the point. I'm trying to find heads or tails of this cardigan. Okay, so this guy again. So, you know, trimming or covering up these seams, or if you did a steek, covering that up to kind of seal in the ends, you know, even further, that kind of thing. And so I wanted to get that. I just hadn't gotten around to it yet, but I finally did, because I also saw that she does a comic. And I guess her comic has been in prior, has shown up in prior issues of, I want to say, Pom Pom magazine. I don't think it says in here, but anyway, so I decided, well, you know, I want a couple of things, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So here is the ribbon, and this is totally her illustration style, and it is so adorable. I think I got, I want to say 3 yards of that ribbon. So cute. I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I know I'm going to use it. But I also decided to get her knitting comic. But these are so adorable, and her illustration style is so cute and just as sweet as she is. So I definitely recommend checking her podcast out and the stuff she's got. The other thing I ended up getting is she's got a little knitting journal. So I might start this one next. It's a little small, but I like its tidiness. And of course, it's all hand illustrated by her. And there's her logo, the green bean on the end, or in the middle there on the back. And she's just got, you know, it's just like graph paper, but she's got all these great little charts and whatnot. So I decided to pick that up too. So her podcast is awesome. Her creations are awesome. She's just awesome. Definitely check her out as well. Okay. A couple more. They are not knitting related, but they're great to watch while knitting because they definitely give the vibe. My number one favorite podcast, knitting or not, of all time. And so this is Jonna, and she's in Sweden, and she does podcasts that are just kind of like her life, very nature based. She does some videos that she's definitely a professional level videographer. She's remodeling right now one of her artist studios. She has fantastic art pieces. She does painting, and when she paints, she uses all natural materials and makes her own paints. She creates music, and as I said, like videos, she's kind of well known in her country. Actually, she's won awards. She has a jewelry line that's beautiful. I mean, and she's just like the sweetest human being too. So I definitely recommend her. If you don't check anything else out, check her out if you want some cozy podcast watching to just really center you. In a similar vein is Lena Henningsen. She hasn't been podcasting as long, but she's got a similar vibe. She's, I believe she's originally German, but she's lived in Norway. I think she's in Norway right now. And she also brings coziness. So she lives with her boyfriend, who's also an artist, and they have a shop. So definitely recommend her channel as well. And the last one, this is random, but I actually really like to watch people build things, but they're not always cozy, right? And not just like an instructional video, but just watching people build things. There's a guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he bought a cabin that needs a great deal of restoration in the Italian Alps. And he's just, you know, recording videos of him upgrading and on all that project. That's not as cozy, but it still kind of has a cozy vibe. He definitely gets more into here's what I did and a lot of talking to the camera, but it definitely has a coziness, and it's in the Italian Alps. Come on. So I like his channel too, but the one I'm going to actually recommend to you is called Bogdan in the Forest, and it's totally silent. I don't even know if he plays any music. I think it's just, kind of nature sounds. But he just builds these like really rough and ready cabins in the woods. And I don't know what it is, but I'm totally obsessed with it. There's actually a couple of videos where you can basically see his cute little dog grow up. From a puppy, as he like shows different cuts, and then in further videos, the dog's all grown up. It's kind of cute to see. But anyway, those are weirdly peaceful too. So I definitely recommend him. Anyway, that's the interlude. So if you're not watching me for coziness, because I am anything but chill, I would definitely recommend those if you're looking for something lovely to sit and kind of glance up at and just, vibe with as you're knitting and crocheting. But let's get back to the goods. Now I want to do whips. So my first whip is almost done. It's just, there's some assembly stuff that I need to puzzle out in my brain, and I don't want to. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm really close. So I got to get to that and finish it. But being that I was all crazy about vests, granny square vests, I present to you the half-finished Edith vest. This is actually shaped, and you kind of can't tell yet because I haven't put it in there. So here's one of the, sorry if I bonked the microphone, but here's one of the straps. But it's got like a half square right here and right there. So it's actually got a V-neck shape. I'll see if I can pop the picture in of what it looks like so you'll kind of see that vibe. So I just have to, I'm joining, it's kind of the join as you go method. And I'm having trouble braining, moderate trouble braining how to do the top bit. So I haven't done that yet. In the meantime, I've been working on the back. And the back is actually just this solid, you know, granny stripe forever and ever kind of thing. And so I'm just doing it in, this is all the same blue sky colors. These are all in blue tones. So this is still Highland fleece. But I've got all these different blue tones. I think this one is Loon Lake, Thermal Spring, you know, like all Midnight something. They're all like really cool names. It'll all be in my Ravelry project pages. And of course I'll list the patterns and the creators below so you can find out that information. So I'm thinking I need more, first of all, I probably need to block this so I can see how much it's opened up. I don't know if I did block it. I think I blocked the bottom to see how big it would get because you can see it's a little bit of a different gauge than the top. So I think I did to see how much I would need, and I am going to need another skein. I'm wondering about not making this a solid white, but like going to, in the top of the back, kind of fading into a blue that are these colors to kind of have the similar vibe. So anyway, I love these blues. They're so pretty. I don't know which side is front. There we go. But mostly it just looks like a lot of squares together right now. But it's also a vest. It's, again, a V-neck, but sleeveless, same deal. Not granny square all the way around, just in the front. And then I got to decide what I'm going to do with the back. But hopefully I'll finish that pretty soon. That pattern's written well. It's kind of lengthy, but it's because they've got all the instructions for like how to join as you go. And I think that there's a video to accompany it as well, if I remember. So definitely recommend that one. What else? Okay, so I want to tell you about Wintersal by Jennifer Steingass. I think last time we talked, I had just got the yarn for it. So that was when I went to the tiny house and went to La Mercerie, which is a yarn shop that carries a lot of, just like flinging this around, that carries a lot of like, it carries the my favorite yarn, Durare Natura by Gilliatt. It also has a lot of knitting for Olive, several other things. So a lot of the yarns that I really, really like. So I definitely wanted to visit them, and I did. I got skeins of, I got 3 different colors of Durare Natura, and I'm making Wintersal by Jennifer Steingass with those 3 colors. I've also got a provisional cast on in this ugly brown, or like tan, so that's not part of it, don't worry. This is constructed in an interesting way because you you use a provisional cast on. So you basically start kind of in the middle at the bottom of the yoke and go up, and then you resolve that provisional cast on so that you can knit back down so that the yoke is, I guess it just that it goes, the pattern goes the right way, that the stitches go the right way. They go up. They look like hearts instead of arrows or carrots. I am making no sense at all. Don't worry. Anyway, so I'm actually not that far because I'm making a large size, like a pretty big size. I'm probably making size 4 or 5. And there's some ease. So it's kind of, it's all color work because I'm working right on the yoke to begin with. So it just looks like this big snake right now because it's still all curled up. So I'm just going to show you this little sliver. So here's the provisional cast on, so ignore that part. But that's basically what the yoke is looking like right now. And I'm going up that way. And then I will resolve this provisional cast on and then go down when I start just the stockinette for the body. I think I'm halfway through the design, maybe a little more than halfway. And then I will need to, I don't know if I've started to incorporate decreases yet to get to the, to narrow for the shoulders and the neck and stuff. I gotta be honest, I love the pattern and I love these colors and I love this yarn, but I'm not sure about these colors together. Might be a little bit of a low contrast with the light blue and the yellow, but also I don't know. They're prettier on their own. When they went together, I'm not sure. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to finish it. I think possibly when it's all done, it will look a little bit better, but I still don't know if it's my jam. So So we'll see. But that is Wintersal. And if I don't like this one, I think I still intend to finish it. And if I still don't like it, I'll sell it or give it away and make me one in colors that I think are better. Another whip I've been working on for a while is one that I'm it's made to interrupt because it's just stockinette, V-neck. It's called the Rainbow, it's called the Basic V. I'm calling it the Rainbow Basic V because it's in kind of rainbow colors. That is by, I think it's Minimi Knit Design. Obviously, I'll put it down here. So I'm not in any hurry with this one. This is just like when I can't think, but I want to knit, or I don't know what I'm going to make next, or, whatever. It works really well to just sort of pick up and keep going where I left off. So I've already split for the sleeves. I've already joined up for the V-neck. I do think this one I did it in a size that might fit me. I don't know if I wrote down what size it is. It's probably in my Ravelry queue. So this might fit me, but it's just, I don't know. It's this, I have a lot of this yarn left. It's very acrylic. It doesn't feel great. It's fine. It feels kind of catchy and honestly maybe a little bit cheap. But in the right light, it just sparkles. And in the ball, it's gorgeous. It just looks painted. But this is a yarn. I think it's a Turkish yarn. I don't even know what to call it. The color is Moonstone. So I found this on Etsy, I think, and got a whole bunch of balls of it. And I'm just sort of still using them up. So I just randomly decided to make a rainbow V. So this is just kind of getting done because I just keep picking it up and it's easy. And so, yeah, I've gotten pretty far. I'm on US 7 needles. And I believe it's short sleeve, although I can't remember. I think I might be making it long sleeve. So I still got a ways to go. You'll see it again. What else? Oh my gosh, so much. Okay, so I told you that I was doing 2 bulky cardigans. So here's the second one. It is also out of Mirasol Ushia yarn. It's called the Everyday Eyelet Cardigan. I'm just going to show you a piece of it because it's totally all in pieces. This, I forget what color this is called, but it's a really, really pretty blue. They have a couple blues. This is more like the jewel tone blue. I don't know if it'll show up the right color on screen, but so this is the back. I think it's the piece that I did first. Then I did the front 2 pieces. I just finished the second sleeve yesterday. So now I need to block these individually, so that they'll be nice for, sorry, I didn't show you that very long. So that they'll be really nice for sewing together. And then sew them together and then do the big old collar all the way around. Just a knit 1x1 rib. That's what this ribbing is. It's just 1x1. So it's just really easy. It's an 8-row repeat, but really there's only 2 rows in that 8 row that you do an eyelet, and you're just either doing it on this pattern or on this pattern. So it just kind of looks like diamond shape. I don't know if it's going to be as nice as the Oxford Boyfriend cardigan. We'll see, but it was another pattern that I thought was really cool. So using that same big chunky yarn, and I know that it will get softer and nicer when I block it. So should have that done by the time I podcast next, and maybe I'll show it to you and hopefully it'll be great. It has a little more air conditioning than the Oxford Boyfriend cardigan does, so I don't know if it's going to be also a store sweater, like the boyfriend cardigan, and it's perfect, right? Because everybody borrows their boyfriend's cardigan. So this is the store's boyfriend cardigan, right? Everyone borrows it. But the Everyday Eyelet is the one that is the work in progress right there. I've also got a couple granny square bags going. There's just one I will show you that I just barely started. It is made out of that dime store cotton that you can get, you know, like for $1 a pop at Joann's or whatever your local fabric store is, the Lily Sugar and Cream. But for some reason, I love that yarn. I don't know why. So I've got a whole bunch of different little baby squares, all in blue tones. I've gone crazy with the blue this year. I don't know what it is. Usually it's very earth tones, very green, or like deep reds, but yeah. So blue it is. So I've got all these different squares and, yeah, more, chucking them everywhere. And, this is like a patchwork kind of bag. Let me tell you what the name of it is. That might help. It is the Scramble Sack, I think, by the Hat and I. So you make these different size squares and they all have puff stitches. So this is the second size and I believe there's 4 different sizes. There's at least 3 different sizes. And they're all, of course, you know, made to fit in line with each other. So like this one will fit 2 of these little guys. The bigger one will fit 3 of these little guys. So it's going to all line up and it looks kind of like a patchwork. It makes me think of those patchwork like denim bags. I don't know if y'all remember those or if that's still a thing, but anyway, I liked the look of that. So I'm definitely keen to work on that. That one will be, you know, relatively quick, but I've got to decide on handles and make a lining and stuff. So the granny squares won't take that long, but the assembly will probably take a while. But that one's fun, and that one I just barely started a couple of days ago. Now, if y'all are interested in embroidery, stick around. If you're not, and you've made it this far, I hope your ears aren't bleeding, and, you know, see you later. But if you're here for the embroidery, I will just show you a little bit of what I've been doing, because it's been a fair amount. I've also been doing cross stitch. So I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm gonna try not to crinkle any bags here. As I said, I kind of stressed out my elbow. So I've been, I started cross stitching and then I decided I would try, I've been meaning to try embroidery for a long time. I've done it here and there, but to really like dive into it. So I've embroidered a couple of pairs of gloves, which I really, really want to do. Again, just like a little flower motif on the hand right here. This is my stamp from Fiber Fusion. But nothing, you know, major. So I want to do like, you know, kind of like embroidered necklines and maybe, you know, sleeve cuffs and stuff like that I think would be really pretty. So I did actually start with cross stitch, and I had a little kit that was in my stocking for Christmas. Oh my gosh, did I remember? I didn't remember my star embroidery. I'm going to have to insert a picture. Bummer. Right. Okay, anyway. So I started with cross stitch, and I had this little Nightmare Before Christmas cross stitch kit, like this tiny little thing that fits on like a tiny little, you know, 2.5 inch hoop. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just start with the kit. So I did start with the kit, and that was fun, and made a little jack. I also made a little zero. It was cute. And then I started work on Sally, but I didn't like the Sally that they had, so I was trying to get creative with it, and then I just got lazy. So that's not finished. But, you probably know, in case you don't know, I am a big horror movie fan and horror book fan. It's Horror Girl Summer for me right now. So I sit outside on my deck, like all day whenever I can, and just knit and listen to horror books. When I'm not doing that, I'm inside knitting as long as I can, or crocheting as long as I can, and watching horror movies. So it's Horror Girl Summer, so I'm outside listening to the books. But I thought it would be so fun to find a horror-themed cross stitch to do. I've cross stitched on and off for years. It's not a hot passion of mine, but I really like to do it. I don't usually like the art it makes. Like, it's pretty, but it's not my thing. I don't normally hang it on the wall, but you know, crafting is about the doing as much as the having for me. So the doing is fun. And I just loved this idea of these little guys, right? So as I said, in these just like tiny little hoops. So I decided to just make a series of little guys, and I found a really great one. I'll put it on the screen or down below because I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically a sampler of a whole bunch of the different like horror people, horror bad guys. So I started in on those. So here's Freddy. Here is, what's his face from Silence of the Lambs? I always forget his name. Because that movie scarred me because I saw it when I was 16 in the theater and I had no idea what I was getting into because I thought it was a movie about a lawyer. And I was really wrong. So that freaked me out. Anyway, Hannibal Lecter. There you go. Totally cute. We probably all know this guy. In case you don't know, it's It from Stephen King's It. Love him with his little balloon. And I'm currently working on the twins from The Shining. There's a lot more in here too. I've not quite done half of what's available. So that's been really fun. I figure I'll crochet the whole series or cross stitch the whole series and put them in little frames or leave them in their hoops or something. So that's been fun. But then I did decide to finally start embroidering. And this one I just kind of made up, and it's cute, but it's fine. I don't love it. It's nice. I know how to do a few things like this rosette. This is like a wagon wheel rosette. So I was just kind of winging it. This is not a pattern or anything. And it's fine. I'm not sure how the colors worked out. Like, it's fine. It's lovely. I don't love it though. But the next one I did is the one I didn't bring. So I will insert a picture here. But this one was the very next one I did, and I used a pattern to trace it onto the fabric and kind of learn some things there about stitches and stuff. And I really, really love this one. This one I'm not giving away, I'm keeping. And I made a couple of others, and I think I had I'll insert quick snapshots if I've got pictures of those. I can't remember if I did, but I sent them off to my mother and mother-in-law for Mother's Day as little gifts. And then I got some kits. I found a local artist, and I just saw her today again at Fiber Fusion. I found a local artist. She was on Etsy. I ordered a kit from Etsy, and then today I see her, and so I bought 2 more kits in person. But this is, which one is this? This one is Lighthouse by the Bay, and I'm this far. So I still need to do the flowers. I just finished the grass, so I need to do the flower. I might even need more grass. No, that's okay. So the flowers, the lighthouse, the water. But I love this one. I'm majorly into lighthouses. So I decided to venture into a kit, and I really like this one. Again, I'm not one to make art that you post on the wall with thread or want to hang. That's not my aesthetic, but I like to do it. So, there'll be gifts for people. But I'm pretty pleased about how that one's coming out. And these kits are great. Definitely recommend them. They have everything you need. The linen, the back for finishing, I can't remember, it did come with needles, I think. And it came with all the floss in the right colors. And then it's absolutely a step-by-step, So it's really great. Definitely recommend these kits. So that's the one I'm in the middle of. The 2 that I got today are Orcas in the Sound. I just love the blue of that water and how it's done. Super gorgeous. And Day at the Beach. And I think I'm going to make this one for my friend. We go on a trip together at least once a year, and we always try to make sure it's by the water because we both love that. It's her especially. I'm just as happy in the woods as well, but I really love the water as well too. So this just says, that to me. So I might make her that for a little gift. But I am still knitting and crocheting, trying to rest my elbow and stretch it, but I also am knitting too much. So I don't know when I'm going to finish those embroideries, but I'm definitely going to get to them. So this one is one that is just needs finishing. I saw this saying somewhere and I just thought it was really funny. So I tried my hand at it. And it just cracked me up. So I had to get it. So this, you can see this is like outlined. So this is me trying stick and stitch paper. And what you can do is you get a sheet, you pull out a sheet and you can run it through your printer and then cut it out and stick it to your fabric. And then this will dissolve in water. I don't like stitching through it though, I'll be honest. The needle did get a little bit sticky. It's not the resistance, it's just the stickiness. So it's just a little bit, and I don't think I'll be using it. What I am using is an air dry, or an air, it fades in the air after a few days. So you can see like where I did the lighthouse, wherever the heck I put that. Where did I put it? There we go. I did the lighthouse. And so that'll fade after a while. And so you don't have to wet it, because I don't really like to wash the embroidery. I'm sure it's fine, and it's like blocking, you know, it's freaky to block your knits and dunk them in water, but then you realize it'll be fine. So I guess I could do that, but I'd rather not have to. It's not like these need, I don't think that these really need to change any kind of texture or stretch or do anything. You know, so I'm not going to worry about that. So air dry is nice. So I'm using an air dry pen, but there's also like pens that will wash off with water and stuff. There's transfer paper. There's all kinds of things you can do. So I've been using that. So I don't think my lettering is great. I really, and I honestly, I kind of rushed through it. So I think lettering is probably the hardest to do and make it look nice the way I want it to do. So I'm not sure how much lettering I will do, unfortunately, because I think these are the funniest. It's one of those things where you like make a little kitsch object and it's supposed to be sweet, like, oh, home sweet home or whatever, but instead it says something sassy. I mean, yeah, who can resist that? So lettering is good. I made one a long time ago that was from the Lego movie. It had a Lego Superman. I made this one up. It had a Lego Superman. And then it just said, I super hate you. And I really need to make that one again. It was fun. But yeah, the lettering is tough. So I think I'll probably just always kind of randomly come back to these here and there. But that has been my jaunt into embroidery. And I think that's all the blathering I have to do. Unfortunately, I didn't take any footage of Fiber Fusion because I don't know, I was lazy and I just was wanting to look at stuff. But I have taken some footage of my sweet little yarn shop that I work at. And so I will play you out with some footage from that. Thank you for joining me, and for, you know, hopefully it wasn't too long to wait. I'll definitely post more episodes in the future. Still plan on doing that. Hope you like this episode, and I'll see you next time. Bye.